Procrastination sucks. Yeah, I know there are people who seem to be full of energy all the time, who get a superhuman amount of stuff done each day, but come on, they are clearly not real people. They're obviously aliens. Or maybe they're just so deeply unhappy that they have to fill their life with work to avoid having to think about the deep existential dread and loneliness they have inside, originating from a deeply troubled childhood. Both equally likely. Anyway, if you exclude depressed aliens, everybody struggles with procrastination. It seems like it's just a quirk of human nature. In fact, being lazy might literally be human nature. Most people believe that our ancestors worked much harder than us, but the scientific consensus since the 60s has been the exact opposite. All studies on the work habits of modern hunter-gatherer societies have shown that they all worked less than 8 hours a day. One tribe was even found to work an average of just 15 hours a week. Of course, we can't really know how hard our ancestors worked, but that gives us a pretty good guess. And it makes sense. Imagine if gathering food really took 40 hours of work on an average week. Anytime there's any sort of famine or hardship, or hell, even just winter, imagine the incredible amount of work that would take just to survive. Any creature that requires that much energy to gather energy isn't likely to survive too long. A desire to conserve energy might be what allowed our ancestors to survive. Laziness is human. So when I was in school, I was a master procrastinator. I often did my homework on the bus on the way to school in the morning because the night before I was too busy doing absolutely nothing. But there was never any incentive to do better because, hey, I was an honor roll student anyway. In grades 7 and 8, I had something called an independent study project, or ISP for short. Basically, we had to do this presentation. It had to last an hour and include some sort of interactive portion like a game or a quiz or science experiment or something. The great part was we could do it on pretty much any subject we wanted, as long as it was school appropriate, of course. Some kids came up with some really creative stuff. Like, one kid in my class did his presentation on wilderness survival techniques, where he challenged himself to survive out in the woods with no modern technology for a weekend, and he filmed the whole thing. I guess the idea was to teach us how to tackle a big project, but get us to work harder because we could do it about anything we want. I actually think it's a really great idea, and more schools should do it. That being said, we had the entire latter half of the school year to put it together, but naturally I did 90% of the work in the last week. Both times. It's not like I wasn't interested in the subjects I chose. In grade 7, I did my ISP on movie making, and then for the interactive portion, we made a 2-minute movie about Justin Bieber on a pirate ship. That was a lot of fun. In grade 8, I did my project on the 2012 apocalypse theories, which to this day I still find absolutely fascinating. I could talk about it for ages. In fact, that might make an interesting video. But I found myself wondering, why did I procrastinate on them if I love them so much? As I got older, this problem got a lot worse, because in 6th grade, for the first time ever, I procrastinated so badly that I forgot to do my homework entirely. I decided to do my homework in the morning, and then my alarm didn't go off and I overslept. I rushed to finish it on the bus, but there just wasn't enough time. I was a pretty big teacher's pet, so this was absolutely devastating to me. My heart was doing somersaults when I walked into class. The teacher started going around asking for homework. She loomed over my desk and asked me where my homework was, and I hesitantly admitted I didn't do it. To my surprise, she just said, "All right, hand it in tomorrow," and moved on. That's when I found out that the consequences for not handing in homework on time are practically non-existent. See, the teachers can't fail you just because you didn't hand in the assignment. They have to give you as many chances to finish it as they possibly can. At least where I went to school. When I started to realize that there was no real reason to finish things on time, my procrastination problem went from bad to worse. When I started to realize that there was no real reason to finish things on time, my procrastination problem went from bad to worse. Suddenly, I was handing things in days, weeks, even months after the due date. And why should I care about getting things in on time? I still got great marks. I got everything in by the end of the year. So what if I was doing it on my own schedule? This really backfired when I left school. I really wanted to make a living as an artist. Problem is, suddenly I was doing work that was way more intense and time-consuming than school, and I had nobody to answer to. Most people learn their work habits in childhood. All I learned how to do was put things off. It was, unsurprisingly, a recipe for disaster. Now, I got stuck on how to end this video. My first couple drafts ended with a guide on how to beat procrastination, but let's be honest, I have no clue what I'm doing either. I decided to record the first part of the video anyway. I played the audio back and thoughts started to creep into my mind. This video wasn't very good. The writing wasn't very good. The voiceover wasn't really good. I wasn't good enough. The anxiety started to build up. And that's when I knew what I'd been missing. Fear. Fear is at the core of all procrastination. But it's not that fear you feel when you stand on the edge of a cliff. This fear is in disguise. It tries to convince you that it's anything but fear. It's reason, it's excuses. It's that one extra video you want to watch before you start that turns into 10 extra videos, and then suddenly there's no time left. You can't get rid of that kind of fear, but you can fight back. And that's what I'm gonna do. This video is flawed. Some lines make me cringe. I know I can do virtually every aspect of it better. I've made so many mistakes, but I have to finish it anyway. And on the next one, I can make better mistakes.